Okay, yay, I'm home. It's only 2 and I got home at 11. So it's not that far, you know. It's just kind of tedious drive because it's so much mountain driving and through the city. But I like driving, and I just can't even tell you how much freaking work I did while I was gone. I I wasn't even expecting it at all. But then, of course, my guides are always like, why wouldn't you be? Like, um, it's summertime. People are doing projects. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess that's right. And so, helping my mom, I mean, she seems to be super proud. Like, people coming up, noticing or whatever. And it looks really good. And I think, she was so cluttery and so much stuff piled up that, spreading the stuff out, it looks better than just jumbling all your stuff up in a pile. And spreading it out shows more stuff. And she has like 5 acres or something. I don't know. Maybe it's less than 5. Maybe it's 2.5. I don't fucking know. It's a big old fucking piece of property that she's supposed to be tending. And she does say that she goes and, does stuff all over it. But it's a lot of work. Anyways, after that one though, and then I went to my daughters, and they were in the middle of these huge projects. And it was the same outdoor, like, using all your muscles work. It was just like, oh my God, this is insane. I'm asking my guys, like, what the hell is going on? And then they remind me, well, you said you wanted to be in service. You said you wanted to get out. You said you wanted to help people. I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's what I'm doing. And it feels good, but it just was like, oh my God, it was kicking my ass. But it was crazy because I kept going and kept going and kept going. And going with no sleep and sleeping on weird things and stuff. Like, I used to think, even when I very first started doing this, I used to sit there and say, like, I'm like the princess and the pea. Like, every little thing in the bed bothers me. I can't sleep over one little tiny thing. And I'm still super uncomfortable when I'm sleeping. Like, that is the biggest thing, is the tossing and turning. I swear to God. I'm getting so many weird pains in my joints. And, I know what it's from. But anyways, that is what I'm going through. And so it's hard to sleep. But I've slept in such awkward places, and even in the non-sleeping or shit sleep or whatever, broken sleep, still getting up and going and doing this stuff. And, I swear to God, it makes you stronger. I was just coming back, and I'm telling you too, like, this thing about these different frequency portals that are not frequency portals, like reality bubbles that, and kind of, some are expanding into community. So people are beginning to come into alignment with their people and building their communities and stuff like that. And, let me think for a sec. Because I keep having this group in my mind. It seemed like they're building community and stuff. And also, too, as part of building a community, it is kind of like coming into agreement. It is kind of like building an alliance as to what you will find acceptable in your friend group. And if somebody's pathological liar or whatever, and you're all sick of being lied to, and you're like, we're all done playing with this girl or guy or whoever. And so it is like the group. It's not like canceling somebody. It is like, because that's like mindless, and this is mindful. This is setting boundaries. And so it's like, it is, and see, and it's not like about judgment. Like, you don't have to be judgmental and say the person's a rotten person and not worthy or whatever. It is the act. And, you know, we want honesty around us. We want people who are authentic and real and can talk and aren't trying to trick us and play games and manipulate. When you know, that sucks. So, that is like building community. It's like setting a standard. No. And, you know, sometimes those are going to hurt people, but those people are being pushed to, grow, to expand. Like, is that who you want to be? Do you just want to be a crazy liar? Or do you want to grow up and face your stuff and start being authentic and vulnerable and trying to become your authentic self? You know, it's difficult for a lot of people. A lot of people hide themselves. They hide who they are behind, well, it's like masks and beards and stuff, but it is, it's like a protective tool, though. That's the thing. Why you can't be like, oh, they're just bad because they do that. No, they're trying to protect themselves. So how is that bad? They just don't know how. And so, you know, they need to go deeper. They need to go into their wounds and, you know, find what they need to release so that they can feel better. And then maybe a friend group, you know, then you humble yourself and, you know, apologize, call yourself out for what you've done. And then, you know, you can try and make amends with people and stuff. But there's going to be a lot of that kind of shifting around and stuff. You know, it is like I said, how they kept showing you before. It's like a sifting. And so, you know, certain people are in a certain vibration, but they were willing to sacrifice themselves. But then as it is shifting and it's like sifting through, people are finding themselves around other people that are like them. But that still puts you in having to develop boundaries from people who are also like intertwined in your groups and stuff. Like there's different roles, you know, it can be a sibling of somebody that comes around and is always ridiculing people. And that person is totally codependent with their sibling, or it can be, you know, somebody who lies to everybody and makes shit up, or it can be somebody who steals people's stuff and people are finally fed up with it. They are always taking their money, always, you know, there's just certain things that people have will keep finding that they have to, you know, and it kind of gets even harder when it starts feeling as it's like the group against one person, like 10 people against one or something. But it's going to keep happening in all these different friend groups because everybody is being pushed by the universe in certain directions. It's like your higher self is pushing you how you're supposed to be going. And so you got to go with the flow and not stress out about it, you know, and know that being real and being authentic, that's not, you know, yelling at somebody and telling them they're stupid or whatever. But calling someone out and saying, hey, you're dishonest all the time. You never tell me the truth. It hurts my feelings. I never know if I can trust you. I don't, you know, it's not a conversation. It's not an energy I want in my life, you know. And then when you're standing with a whole bunch of people, but getting anyways, you know, that even feels worse. But just being, for yourself, being real and telling somebody what bothers you and what you don't like, that, even if you don't see any change right then, just let that go. It's, you know, but when, they do, I mean, if everybody keeps pushing them, and which the universe is going to do, there's no getting away from this stuff. There's no getting around it. There's no continuing to be rotten when the world turns good. No, this is you readjusting. You've got light and dark inside of you. You've been, a lot of people playing a little too heavy in the dark, and they got to readjust, and they got to pull themselves back. You know, it was fine tune. And, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, who are heavy into, the just darkness. And they don't even realize it's darkness, but things that are artificial and don't matter, materialistic, those kinds of things are just dark. They're not something you can take with you. You can't take money with you. You can't take your house with you. You can't take clothes with you. You can't take your belongings, your friends. You can't take any of that stuff with you. So the thing you can always take with you is your soul, your lessons and stuff. And I just got to throw this out there too, is like I know I've said this a bunch of times, but it is the way you look as your soul expressing itself through the DNA to, it's like it's a beneficial to your story. So it is a part of it. And these people who go in and keep trying to change it and override it and stuff, it's like they're not understanding. Just like, when somebody writes a story, writes a movie or whatever, they have in mind what the players look like, what the people, not the staff, the cast. So they have in mind each character. As they write the character, they have to define the character. And it's specific too. Like when I went and worked on that movie, it's very specific. Like how much makeup they wear, what kind of clothes, what kind of attitude. Like they're creating avatar people. They're creating these characters. And so what was I going to say? Because we're all creating avatars all the time. But some people don't even put very much work into their avatar. They would rather put work into a distraction of some sort rather than putting time and effort into themselves and treating themselves like the avatar. They would rather, work on things that don't matter, that are superficial, a lot of things. Like there has been so many things lately. Just this drive. Every time I'm doing the drive, I'm noticing more things, and I'm definitely like, it has been so weird since I got here. For one thing, just doing these drives, I can totally tell, just like I was talking about last year, it is like you're going into, like, we're already space traveling. Of what we thought was space travel, we're already traveling in space to go and see other people and other planets and other worlds and other realities. We're already doing it. It's just that we don't understand we're doing it. Just like when I was younger and I was already talking to channeling or whatever, but I didn't even know that that's what it was, because it was just so natural. That is the same thing. Like we all have these natural things, and then they are taking it and redefining it to us. And so there was so much with the connection with nature. What was that? It was something they were showing me when I was driving, and how we're like this connecting to nature. I just saw a TikTok that was saying something about connecting. I keep seeing these different things. Like there's so many different things, but they always kind of like build on the other things and stuff to me. Like when they're trying to communicate and to give you some information, tell you a story, try to get you to understand something, it is a building. It's like putting building blocks up. And there's always an expansion. Like, we'll tell you things, show you things, all sorts of things. And it's always expanding. So sometimes even if you think you totally get something, then it will, be shown to you again later in another context, where it just keeps building and building. Like, oh my gosh, okay, yeah, I get that, yeah. And it's crazy how it is, it's so cool. But when I got here, because, okay, so I was driving, and it was something about connecting with nature. And I had a lot of things while I was driving. So about just the portals, the travel. There was like so fucking many, what are those things called? The speed traps. So goddamn many motherfucking speed traps. Are you motherfucking kidding me? Jesus fucking Christ. You'd think these people have got nothing to do. And the whole thing is their whole agenda is get out there and ticket people who are still getting to work, people who are rushing, getting somewhere. Run out there, give them a big fat ass ticket because the government has got no money. And it's just becoming so much more of this killing people. Like, I guess now the Pope has come out and said, yeah, it's a good idea. We need to kill these disabled people, which I would be one. And we need to kill these disabled people, these autistic people, which I think probably most of the world is. And we need to kill like all the people, just basically people who they deem unworthy. Like they got life, they got the gift of life, but the people who have the habitat deem them unworthy. And they're trying to contain the habitat. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, that was fucking cool. Okay, so I was driving, and, you know, to me, nature looks so fucking fake anyways. And, but there was this reflection of like this mountain and these trees going through the lake, and the lake was totally still. It looked just like a photograph or something. It was so fucking cool looking. And it just crossed my mind while I was looking at it. I was like, well, how in the world could that be there? I would think there has to be another reflection, like the dome, like that has to have something to bounce the light back from to create the reflection, I think, which to me makes it even more clearly that there is a dome when you think it through, because I don't know. They say that is just the picture just shines on the water and makes the other picture. But I swear to God, there has to be something behind it. Like there has to be the dome or something that contains it, so that it has something to bounce the light refractory kind of particles back from to create the image. But I don't know, maybe I'm just, I don't know. Sometimes when they say this stuff, like I'm always like, really? But I don't know. It makes so much sense to me. Like, would there, if there was no firmament at all, if there would be any reflection into the, well, you don't really see on, unless it's a still lake, like it's hard to see. Sometimes you can see like certain things like on the ocean, like if you go out to watch the sunset or sunrise or whatever. Like I was seeing the sunset and then the moon coming up on this one. It was huge moon and it was reflecting down onto the ocean. It looked really cool. But anyways, but that the way it looked, and you know, I don't know, maybe I misunderstand them or something sometimes, but sure does seem like that makes sense. There would have to be something behind it to be able, like if you held a mirror up and there's nothing there, how can it reflect anything? Like it would have the room behind it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking complete craziness. I don't know. It seemed like to me that the firmament was in the reflection. But I don't know. Because if you put the mirror, you can see the room. But there's something there to reflect back. And the trees are up like this. They're not even down like this. But then they're going across the water like that. I don't know. I just think this whole reality is just like, it's just weird and supernatural. And then they try and make it fit into this contained story that makes no sense. Oh, and somebody had a really cool map. I shared it on a short, the last short I did. It only has like 22 views or something. Maybe, I mean, I'm one of the only people who's really into these maps. But it totally is like all of the containments everywhere, all of the lands in the content. It's a really cool looking map, I think. But I think it is way more accurate as to what we think of as the universe. That it is, you know, a lot of water, a lot of like plasma, and a lot of it's weird too, yeah, because water, there has to be a density to be out. Anything that you go out further and further, it loses. It's like when you're trying to fine tune something, you know, and then it will go way out and you can't see it at all. So it's like that for the frequency. If you go out of that frequency, you can't see it. That is, but right now, when I was just traveling around, I was feeling like I was going into all different ones. Like I could totally feel the difference of my house. Everywhere I went, I could feel like this frequency or this vibration difference. A difference, like everybody has their own world happening, their own existence. And, you know, like I know that that's how it was before we woke up. And I think it's going to, you know, go back like that. It's going to go back into that, but it's going to be in a healthier kind of progress. It's not going to be like with dysfunctional relationships and crime and like these empty people. Like empty people trying to fill themselves up through perversion, all sorts of stuff. So it's not going to be like that. It's going to be people who feel good about themselves. And, oh yeah, when I was driving by, yeah, so that I saw this old man walking. He's carrying a bag. He's pretty old, you know, just guessing. He had long white hair, long white beard. And he was kind of thin and kind of like had a, I don't know, a hitch in his getty up. I kind of had a stumble or something as he was walking. These fucking meditation bullshit things, and just do commercials on them and just, are you still watching? So, oh, and this is alpha waves, so it's supposed to be healing you. So anyways, so he was walking, and, you know, I'm always having all these conversations, and it's like, oh, should I go and see if he needs a ride or something? It's like, no, that is good for somebody. That is somebody showing themselves what they need, not being dependent, not being reliant. That drive is what gets them to where they want to go, is that determination, that drive to, I will walk up the store in the heat and carry my bag, get my groceries, and walk back home. And all of the benefits for him in aging, because it's better for him. It's better for him to do those things himself like that, because it is improves his health, it improves his stamina, it improves his the way he looks at himself. And so there's so much benefit. So see why it's not necessarily a good thing just to rush in and rescue somebody. And I had so many of those conversations over the past week and a half and stuff. But, you know, I mean, they're always showing me that, like, people have to get these, you know, to show themselves, to save themselves. Like, you know, how hard will they work to feed themselves? And then right after him, you know, I'm having this discussion with him as we're going, and then we're turning into where I live, into the neighborhood part. And there was another guy walking, and I don't know, he seemed like he had like something on his arm. It wasn't like cast, maybe he had some, I don't know, maybe he was just carrying something. Maybe I was carrying a few things too in a gas can. And it was the same thing. It was like this like necessary for these parts for people to go and do those kinds of things, to go and walk up to get your gas. There's something, a humbling experience that some people need to have. So don't just rush in and save everybody. And, you know, there's something about being kind and being, you know, always being kind. Even if somebody is an asshole, you know, there's a lot of those drivers out there, I'll tell you that. Last night, I totally lost my patience, though, too. Well, not like that, but to me, if I just losing my patience a little bit irritates me, you know, where it's like, oh, I should just not done that. I should have just, you know, I'm always reevaluating myself. And, but, you know, where I used to do it, just beat myself down or something, now I can do it as to just be like, okay, yeah, now let it go. Like next time I'm going to be better, hopefully. Because I was just so motherfucking burnt out. And it was so late by the time I was getting to my daughter's. It was like almost 7:30. And then my daughter, I was just like, more obstacles like right at the end. And I was like, and I had to stop and get her food. Because I guess I don't know. So I had to stop. And when I stopped to get gas, I got her a sandwich at the gas station and some chips. And then she was like, ugh, it's not very good. So we had to pass that girl's house, McDonald's. See, I thought the sandwich from the thing would probably be better than getting the goddamn McDonald's. But kids want McDonald's, just like Stella. And, well, lots of people want it. And just, they don't know what they're eating. So I went and drove through and got the goddamn McDonald's. And it's like 7:30 at night. And like all of a sudden, everybody's got to go to McDonald's. It's like the timing sometimes. And it was like 2 or 3 blocks from her house. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired. I just want to get home. And then this line is just not moving. And I was just like, oh, God, this is irritating. And, you know, I feel like my granddaughter was already stressed enough. She didn't need, you know, me making her feel like, you know, I don't know. I'm sure that she probably took it on. Or just sees me as just being impatient, you know. But, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I am impatient. Sometimes I just want to fucking go sit down, lay down and not. Sometimes I want to just not talk. I want to not do anything. I want to not interact. I want to go into my own mind. Like, I don't understand how people are so, they get so like, don't want to be there. I don't know what goes on in other people's minds. My place is a joy. It's a joy to be. It's a joy to it's like finally people who want to talk deep. Thank you. Finally people on my wavelength that get what I'm fucking like. It's like, it's like, oh man, I can go around and everything I try and talk about is deep. I'm just a weirdo who looks at weird things, thinks about weird things, talks about weird things. And then everybody else is still in that, you know, kind of superficial world. But there was a really cool kind of thing that happened too. There was a lot, but, you know, I'm sure it'll be coming to me. But, yeah, we went to go ride the river, which was so fun. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. They had all matching inner tubes. And it was one of their friends' birthdays, and her boyfriend and 2 other friends, and then so it was a big group of people. And they all had matching inner tubes, and they tied them all together so we were like an inner tube island. And a lot of people do that, I guess. Like a lot of the people who go down and ride that all have the same inner tubes. And there was parts that were really rushing and huge rocks. You constantly had to lift up, your butt. You know, you had to go like flat as a board up there. And, but it was really, really fun. That was really fun. And it was one of their friends' birthday. So that was, fun, and get to meet other people. A couple of them just went through a huge trauma. So I just kind of, but I could sit there and enjoy, you know, silence. I don't, it's, because in my mind, it's not silent at all. I could just hear better when there's silence around me. And so when there's like a lot of noise around me or a lot of talking, sometimes when people are talking to me, there's other people in it that are talking to me inside of my head. And so I don't hear what the people outside of my head are talking. And sometimes it'll sound like just noise or something. And it's kind of distracting. So I feel like I need to have time to be able to, because seriously, I mean, I don't understand how everybody does not have this. Like, I thought everybody did. It's so strange to me, but it is because it's all day long, all day, ever since I was a kid. It has been them talking and talking. It's gotten a lot lately, but even when I was a teenager, I mean, maybe it was because they were trying to move me out of the church, and they kept, you know, telling me all this stuff that was lies and stuff. Maybe that's why. And like right now, they keep telling me so much stuff. Like, I don't fucking know. All I know is that I know there's talking. I just know people have to figure out how to kind of categorize it, to kind of, you know, decipher what's going on in their head. Slow it down, listen closer, you know, pay attention to repetitive stuff. You know, that to me is when the being, like you, is just replaying something and replaying something and replaying something in your head. And that to me is like spinning out. Yeah, you know, notice the different things, like there's different things going on in your mind, and it is a shift of awareness so that you focus. And I don't know if it is, you know, because there's not a lot of people that like to talk about what I talk about, but they always do because they're always the ones talking about it. But that's the stuff that I find interesting. That's the stuff that I pay attention to. So, you know, I don't know. Everything is still, you know, going to be unfolding and showing us, like, you know, what we're supposed to be doing, or what our role is, or whatever in this new thing that is happening. But man, there is a lot of awakening. A lot of people just waking up to different things more and more and more and more and more. But oh yeah, so the cool thing, so we went to go the ride the river thing, and it was super fun. And then you know, you have to have a car parked at the end of the river to get back to the beginning. And so not everybody could fit in the car, so my daughter and I laid in the back of the pickup on top of all the inner tubes. And so all the inner tubes were piled down there, all out of air. So it was like a little mattress. But so her and I are just laying on our backs in the back of the pickup, looking up. And so I was talking about the sky. It was so motherfucking weird. It was so fucking weird. And I was like, isn't this weird? Doesn't that look weird? I'd already showed it in the morning anyways. I said, like, when you look out straight out there at that sky right there, you don't see an upside down sky? And she's just like, no. And then just goes back to what she's doing. It's like, that motherfucking sky is upside down. But that was in the morning when it was down low. It was like this weird sky. It was so fucking weird. So then we get on our thing, and we go do our stuff, but do the the float and stuff. And then, so this was like much later in the, well, a few hours. And so we're laying in the back of the pickup. Now the whole top, it was where it was all completely blue with just this weird shelf going around of this upside down looking cloud system. Then all of a sudden now it's really, really weird. Like there was several different cloud systems. She did say that too. She goes, there's a lot of different kinds of clouds or something. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, it looks like they're like in different dimensions and stuff. And I said, yeah, like, yeah. I was like, it's very strange. And she wasn't talking about it too much, but there was like a liquid ink spill. Then there was some weird stuff in that looked like it was going to split. Then there was some like these weird, just other kind of clouds. Then there was like the puffy clouds. Then there was the clouds with all the little, the frequency clouds. So there was like so many different ones. And so I was talking about that. And then this weird looking plane thing started going on, and I go, oh, weird, look at that skeleton looking plane. It's like it looks see-through or something. What a weird looking plane. And I don't remember what she said, but it looked kind of like it was, I had seen one I thought out here before where I said it looked like a ghost plane or something. It looks like it's see-through or something. It's so strange looking. And so it was way up, and I said, that's a weird looking plane and stuff. But then it started moving weird. Then it was moving like it was in a different dimension, and it was not moving like a plane. And it wasn't making any of that noise. The planes are so loud right now that you can hear them like for fucking forever as they go over. And this had no sound at all. And it was moving all fucking weird. And I go, oh, wow, maybe here we are seeing an alien ship together. And she's like, you think so? I said, I don't know. It sure is moving weird. I don't know. Airplane moves like that. And it's weird looking. And she goes, yeah, but it kind of looks like an airplane because it kind of had the wings going out. And then it had like a cigar shaped thing. But I don't know. It did not it was so far, it definitely looked like a thing going like that, a thing going like that, but it didn't move right. So if it was a plane, I said, then, maybe it's a plane, I don't know, and it's just glitching. I don't know, but something's off, something's not right. And so then we get to her car. We get in her car, and she goes to drive me back so I can leave. And then we're driving down the road, and there's this other weird thing going. And I go, oh, weird. Look at that one. That looks like a UFO. And then there's 3 more behind it. And so she's like, no, seriously, what is that? What are those things? I'm like, I don't know. What do they look like? And she's like, I don't know. I've never seen it. Like, that is weird. Like, what are those things? I really don't know what those things are. And they were way down low, and they were moving weird. And these 3 moving together too. And she's like, why are 3 things moving together? I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's just all the aliens. I don't know. So anyways, I said, well, now I think you're going to really start watching the sky. And she goes, I've been watching the sky. I said, well, I think you're going to start noticing some things because, like, I swear to God, it is so fucking fake looking. I can't even believe it when people don't think it looks fake. It's like, and then when I got home and, how many motherfucking goddamn ads are there? Have you seen how many times I've had to push this? This first, who is this one? I swear, I try and pay attention sometimes to whose channel it is. Healing Musiphoria fucker? I don't even know what the fuck that says. So, I don't know. Some of the people, it's like, do they do they like ask for commercials to be in their shit? Or if they have tons and tons of views, they just stick commercials in every 2 seconds. But that it's not cool for meditation stuff. And when you're meditating, that like your mind goes into another state of reality. And so you don't want it pulling you out like that. And for the sleeping too. So I don't know. That is so weird. But that's why everything just feels like it's glitching so much right now. So I got, everything seems weird. I got home and I started, putting everything away and doing all this stuff. And everything I was doing, I was like, I don't feel real anymore. Like, when I say this stuff, it's like, my daughter would think, like, it's time to lock Mom up. She's just really gone out there now. But I swear to fucking God, I'm like walking around. It's like, why can't I just like, it's like I swear, I don't know how to say it. It is like so disassociated, I guess would be the word, from the reality. But it is like I don't feel the same. Like I don't have feelings the same. Like the feeling, like everything is just weird. Like when I'm doing something, I don't feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm kind of just watching myself do shit. Like I don't know. It's weird. I really, seriously, it's so strange. And I don't know how, and is it just going to keep going like this? Like, I guess that is how we become like eternal beings. They can just go and do whatever they want. Because I was even thinking about that teleportation thing. And I was like, legit, that is just, reprogramming us. Oh yeah, that was bad. I don't remember what that was. But reprogramming us so that we are not attached to the flesh and blood, and we're attached to the energy inside of us, and that we can master our minds so that we can put ourselves in another place in our consciousness. So that's what I think is more like teleportation. Because physical things, like we are here in this place together, like all these different souls. But who fucking knows? Are we just playing all the parts and we think that it's all these different people? Probably is something weird like that. But time traveling and all that stuff is what is that called too, when they can remote view, time travel, lucid dreaming, all of those kinds of things, I think is kind of to get us, that is more what we can do. That's more what life can be like. But it seems that there's these places like these, like with Earth, and like all these other ones, like if you look at that map, all these different islands or places or whatever, that they're like theaters or places that we can go with our minds. We can put ourselves there. And like in this one though, it's like you got to be birthed through somebody. That's funny, because then they start all those secret societies and stuff, I think you have to be birthed into those through somebody. Like it's who get you into that kind of stuff. But that is, the same thing as being birthed into this reality. You're coming through, people even though, but it is almost like the agreement to participate in the lineage lesson plan, And right now there's so much going on with the feminine and masculine because it's been so out of balance for so long. And so many people, everybody has to get their own imbalance. And that is also that, it's the same thing about the light and the dark, the negative and the positive. It's all the same kind of energy thing, but you have to find the balance. And it's not like the masculine is dark or negative. See, that's why this is so silly, where people think like the dark is devils and all that shit. No, it is the heavier, it's the tougher. It's the, it's the negative charge to the positive. And not to say that the masculine is negative, but it's the charge to the feminine. And it's like the protector of the nurturer, and so it is but each person has that inside of them, and they have to find their own balance. They have to find the way to themselves. And so when everybody's dial is so, it's for them to fine tune for themselves. It isn't for somebody else to do. But you have to know yourself well enough to be able to fine tune yourself. And a lot of people don't know themselves at all. They only know themselves through how others see them. And they want to focus on how others see them through negativity. And the ones who do focus on how others see them through the positivity often are stuck in ego. And so there's balancing that needs to happen in all different areas. Even if somebody seems like they're doing really good, there is something that they can be hiding from. But things will keep playing out and keep pushing them in their life to push them into recognition of what the problem is. But it is kind of like this soul is kind of asleep, is kind of dormant or something. And then it's weird because it is kind of passive and dormant until the person acknowledges it and it gives it the time. But the soul is the one in charge. Yet the being thinks they're the one in charge without the connection to their soul. But once you connect to your soul, then you find out your soul's in charge. You're along for the ride. And when you're trying to control things, you're just frustrating yourself because you don't have control. That is a part of the letting go, the let go, let God, letting go, let things happen. Don't try and force them. Don't try and it is the creation is through the energy. It is the focusing on the more positive leaning energy towards your outlook on yourself. So it's how you see yourself. When you see yourself as being valuable, then that energy is where you're directing it. So that is the way you direct your energy is through your attitude towards yourself. And so if you stay looking at yourself in a positive way, so you won't take abuse from other people, you won't put up with things. And I have just noticed too how things are just like, man, it's just like things are just, it really is like what they were saying. Like if you were focused on healing and putting out good energy and stuff like that, things are just gonna, keep seeming like they're getting better and better and better. Because that's how it seems to me. Even my daughter looked up my ticket while I was there because somebody, like I said, two of the exes of my two different daughters are doing poorly, really poorly, and they have young daughters. One of them has 3 kids. One of them has a young child. Well, she's 12, but that's young. And he's doing really, really bad, really bad. And then the other one, he is getting himself into, because they're both of them, it's the drug thing, and they were, did it a long time ago. Then they stopped, but one struggled way harder to stop, and one I thought had stopped for a long time, but I guess he is back doing it and got arrested. And so it was a whole big thing. And so, you know, all these different traumas are I try to tell people, you got to just realize that this stuff is happening for your growth. It isn't. People just get so caught up in the trauma part or the sad part or whatever. And it's so, so important to not judge people. To not be like, well, they're just an idiot. They're just a worthless druggie or anything like that. That's important not to do. Because nobody is worthless and nobody is the part they play. They're just here playing a part. They're not that thing. And so, anyways, they're both struggling. But when my daughter was on the thing looking up his court stuff, she looked up my thing and there's no, well, she couldn't find where about a ticket, but there was no warrant. So I kept thinking, I bet you they put that ticket to a warrant. Such bullshit, this system. I mean, when you see all these cops and they're all just out there just waiting to arrest people, and the control with the motherfucking speed limit, it just really irks me. I mean, people just haven't seen it yet. And maybe it's because I drive so much, but it is a fucking game. And then to tell us how fast we need to drive, if we're grown up enough to drive, don't you think we should be able to monitor it for ourselves? But there's a lot of people like, you know, I mean, I guess they would have to have a speed limit because, you know, some of these people. And what is even weirder is some people just want to drive like 1 or 2 miles an hour faster than everybody else. But then you also have these ones that are going like death wish fast. They don't give a fuck about anybody or anything. So, you know, with all the out of control people, I get why, you know, they, you know, well, why we all bought into laws and stuff like that. But everything could have gone, well, everything is going to go the other direction. But it's so crazy when you see all the things and then how we had choices the whole way through everything that has been happening. We were always making choices and we were always making bad choices. We were always making superficial, shallow choices that were not the best for the planet, society, for ourselves. You know, that's why all of these people have to be forced to make choices, to look at things in a deeper way, to, you know, like I keep being like, man, should I just sell my house? No, I don't think I think there's no way you could sell anything right now. I'm surprised. Well, that one house had siding on it when I got back. I swear to God, I feel like I've been gone so long. Even when I would see somebody, they'd be like, oh my God, you're still, doesn't it seem like you've been gone so long? And I'm like, yes. Seems like I haven't been home in so long. And everywhere I would go, it was still being very much in the here and now. But every single fucking time, it seemed to have nothing to do with time. Like we would go into these weird little space bubble things, start doing the work, doing what we were going to do, and then not focusing on time, and then just focusing on the job and getting the work done, even though it took a couple days. It was it's like the focus and the determination. Because I think if you just keep looking at the clock, that's like, you know, when you can't look at it all and take it all at once, you gotta make things small. Well, for me, it is more manageable if I make things smaller. Even on the drives, I notice that I always chop it up. Like, oh, it's from here to Ritzville. It's from Ritzville to Moses Lake. Ritzville or Moses Lake to Quincy. Quincy to the Gorge. And then the Gorge to Cleelle. Like, there's like dividing it up, then it just seems so much more manageable to me. The part from the 5, and then I have the 405, and then, you know, and then each time you get to a goal, It's like, it feels good. It feels like a celebration. Like, oh my God, I'm almost there. Look at, we're halfway there. We're almost, you know what I mean? Instead of, and that to me is a part of that outlook, the way of looking at things. You know, how you address things is how it's going to affect you. If it's burdensome, then it's going to feel like a burden. If you can look at it and, you know, it all is you deciding for you how you want to look at things. And the biggest problem here is that there's just so much insecurity where people just look at things so negatively. They don't look at things through a clear lens. That is like why the veil is being lifted, so you can get a clear lens, a clear look, so you can see the truth. And this truth, you know, should still be coming. It's like, I don't understand how things drag out. But, you know, I mean, it's Monday. Apparently the banks must open because people aren't, well, I mean, maybe they are out there in the streets tearing shit down. I haven't seen any videos of it. It just seems like, it seems like everything is like in some kind of slow play or something. Like they've put us on slow or something. Like went from 33 to 45 or whatever, like on the record players, you know, when you could change the speed. Because when you had the 45s, you had to pay them slower. And then on the regular albums, had to be 33. But if you switched it to 45, it would start going real quick. I'm sure you can switch it into a lot of other ones. But that's what it feels like right now. Like the album's supposed to be going at one speed, but we're going at a different speed. And I feel like disconnected from the whole thing. Like I feel disconnected from myself. Like I'm in there brushing my teeth and it's like I could just be standing there just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It just is, it's weird. It's like this just disconnect. I don't know. Maybe it's just the whole thing is like this unplugging ourselves from like the feelings of pain and sorrow and but I don't know. Like I still have like the pains in my wrists and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. It just feels weird because I feel like I'm not like really there. Even if I can see myself, but I feel like I'm looking at a picture of myself, kind of. But I don't like, no, I know that sounds so weird. It's hard to explain. But, you know, whatever, if you are feeling really disconnected or disassociated or like don't even know how to explain it, like don't feel crazy. It's happening to more than one person. And the Schumann resonance thing, I guess, is really off the charts right now too. So there's a lot of energy and it's affecting people in all different ways. And however it affects you, you know, is what you need to release. So however you get affected, those are the things you need to release. So, you know, continue to release anything that comes up. Don't get in that fucking trap that so many people seem to get into and think, well, I healed. I'm all healed. Yeah, I did that last year. Yeah, I had the dark night. I'm healed. I'm good. And then it's nonstop. And there's way more to healing than just facing your inner child. You've got to rebuild yourself. You've got to set boundaries. You've got to learn to, you know, risk yourself and be vulnerable. You've got to, you know, set your standards. You change your priorities. Like there's a whole redefining yourself. And I don't think anybody can get it done in 6 months or a year. It's like a process. It's like you choose the path for the rest of your life. Forever to be more mindful, forever to be more trying to continue to always be in balance, but be in balance in the world, be in balance in yourself. And is this one word that I keep trying to see, because it's like mindful, but it's also reflective. Reflective, yeah. So, yeah, reflective of, to look at yourself, to look at the different scenarios and try and see the deeper meaning, see the purpose. That's the biggest thing in life is people think there's no meaning, there's no purpose, and it has great meaning and great purpose. And, but there's fucking eternity to figure this shit out. It's like there's no rush. It's not like, it's you better hurry. You do whatever for as long as you want. I just found like a bunch of scabs across my arm. I didn't even know I heard that. Man, I worked hard as fuck. And sometimes you work so hard and it's just like you can surprise yourself. Like, oh my God, I didn't know I was so strong, especially, getting older. Don't let anybody tell you, like, don't do things as you get older. You got to stay strong. You got to keep your core strength. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself at any time, no matter what. Like, there's like lots of suicide going on and everything, and just don't give up on yourself. And it's not like you're going to be punished even if you were to do that. It's not like, you're going to be standing there like police waiting to punish you and take you to a suicide jail. No, I think it is way more about as soon as you get out of the game, you remember, as soon as you're out, none of this shit matters. So it's like, oh my gosh, I let it get to me again. I let it get to me again. I think that is the thing, is just feeling like you failed yourself, and probably you were going through some hard shit that was something that you were trying to put back in balance, or some karmic thing or whatever. And it was such a burden, so hard, then you give up, and then you got to go do it again, and then, and try it in a different way. And then you're so sure. Like, I'm telling you that there can be, somebody who does themselves in. They could do that life after life after life. It could take them 50, 60, 70 times to get through the lesson, because every time that they give up, and they get mad at themselves. There's nobody up there waiting to judge them. They just get mad at themselves that they just keep getting overwhelmed or giving up or whatever. But that should prove to everybody that the place that we're going isn't scary. People are, taking their own hand to get there. It's, I had some weird driving things. One of them was, oh yeah. Okay, so remember when I was talking about the spider webs and all those fucking flies out there? And I was like, it's weird because it's like they're flapping their wings, but when they get near the web, it's like they can feel something change. I don't know if they can hear a frequency, if they can feel a change in the heaviness, the density, or they hear the sound of their wings up against it. Whatever it is, that they can feel their reality. They can feel they can feel what they need to feel in their reality to protect themselves. And like I had been saying for a while, I've started being able to feel the reality on this other level. Like I can feel something coming, feel someone near me or something like that. And so like I can feel someone get in a room before they get there. And so I had already knew I was going to need my horn, and I had checked and I was like, had no horn. And so then I was like, I haven't had a horn for a long time, probably the whole time I've had the car. But I've been driving so much, I've needed it a bunch of different times, and I never had it. So I was really feeling like, fuck, I need that fucking horn. I need to go out and make sure. I just go out and try everything and see if I got a horn. So I went out and there was no horn. And so then I was like, okay, well, I just got to be aware, and there was a lot of times when I felt like I was going to honk, and I would go and hit down on the place where you usually honk, and I'll yell like, ah, or something. I swear to God, I think that energy goes out and the person can hear that and feel that. The same as a horn. But so this big red truck, you know, one of those pickups that have all the glass. So they have all these stands and stuff. And so then they have these big straps and stuff. So he had way too much distraction on the side of his fucking truck when he's looking back. And a big red truck. And it's just glass, glass, glass. And so I'm like right here. I am not like fucking way back here. I am right here. And I'm already up past the back tire. And I don't know, he couldn't see me apparently. And maybe his mirrors are too high or something. So he just starts coming over into my lane. And so I had to just like slow down real quick back, you know, like stop. And it seemed like he didn't even know for a minute. And then he just came over. Once he got over and then he realized, then he went back over. I was like, what? Wacky. Maybe he thought I was just rushed up there or something. Maybe he thought he had just cut me off. Like, dude, you almost just fucking ran over me. And I couldn't honk, but I could feel before he started to come, I could feel he was going to come. So there is something out there that we are connected to, but it's this other stuff that distracts us because there's so many things. I can feel them. I can feel when somebody is like, I don't know how, like, I know that thing of like being able to, like, I could feel the guy coming. I could feel somebody coming through the front door before they come through the front door. Like, but I think it's something about tuning into the energetic part, the natural part of the reality, the part of us that is included in nature, where we have a feeling, a natural, energetic pickup in the energy realm, kind of, when we get focused more on that and not focus so much in this superficial world. Because the superficial world holds you back from, like, I think I would have probably been hit by that guy. It was like I just knew he was going to come over. And so I was really paying attention. And then he just started coming over. So I just backed like that. And then he just came right there. And it was just like, fuck. And what a gruesome truck to get hit with. Whoa, what a fucking wreck. What a mess that would have been. All that glass. And, but there was a few different things on the drive. There always is. And I'll tell you something else. There's so many motherfucking roadkill. I can't even believe it. It is extreme. So fucking much. It's as extreme as how many fucking cops are out there doing speed traps. It's like everything seems so extreme right now. Everything seems like it's like, seems like it's just like intense. Like it's just going. So I don't know what the thing's gonna be. Like, seriously, they've got so many things that anything could happen. And just the way they're coming out so hard, you know, in all these places, Canada, Denmark, the Pope, fucking Klaus's daughter is out there spouting some shit too. And, but, you know, the Pope to be getting backlash now because he says that we need to kill all these people. So all of this stuff is being exposed, shown to us so we can see. So, you know, that's what's going to keep going. So I don't know. You know, maybe something's just going to be so outrageous. That's going to be the Great Awakening. But I still say it's got something with the money. That money thing is already, there's so much stuff going with the money thing in other countries and stuff. So we got the money thing. We got the, there's more shit with Joe and Hunter. And so all these things are just like, it's like, kind of like there's this fucking tightrope. Is it? No, tightrope. And it is all of these acrobat are on it at once. you know, and it's like anything can happen. Anything can happen at any time. It's like way overloaded. There's too much. And like people have reached their boiling point. And so we've got to be close to the collapse thing. What was that? It was supposed to be the start of something on the 28th. And I think today's the 31st or the 1st. I bet it's the 1st. I bet it's August 1st. So now we're in August, if it is. And so, you know, shit has got to get going. Shit has got to go down. Like, God damn. Oh my God, how slow can you rip off a Band-Aid? Ugh, it's crazy. But I don't know. I guess if they just did it fast, there would be such chaos. And just when you try and talk to somebody and tell them, like, they literally can't wrap their heads around it. They literally can't open their minds to what the things that you're saying. They have to see it for themselves. Once you see it for yourself, and it can be seen by so many, in such strange, vague ways. You know, we all have our own way of seeing it, but everybody's going to be seeing it, you know, and maybe some won't be able to ever process it, but something's got to be going down. So I still say we're super close, you know. I'm banking on it that this fucking bank crash fucking hurry up and happens. And you know, the leadership, like, there's a lot of stuff. And once something goes, oh, and fucking hell, god damn, the messages are all around us. What was this one? This was, my daughter put on, they were playing, what's his name? Marshall Mathers, but what's his rapper name? I can't think of his rap. Eminem. Okay, so Eminem, the new Eminem. It's not the old one. I mean, that guy, I don't know when he got taken or whatever. Oh, yeah, because now BlackRock bought 23andMe. Now the people are like, what are they going to do with all that DNA? Well, they want to make lab-grown meat. They need DNA. They want to make clones. They need DNA. They want to make things to test on. They want to make babies. Like, they got a lot of stuff they can do with that DNA. So the food thing is just like, oh my God, if they start growing food with people's DNA and then feeding it back to themselves, I just gotta just keep remembering, we're not flesh and blood. None of this is real. We're really holograms. Because that stuff is so disgusting. And it will keep you without getting sick if you keep remembering that they can't make you sick. I got to do that all the time. You know, they can't make us sick. They can't make me sick. I'm a hologram. This isn't real. This isn't real. Like, and the cuts on my legs, like, I maybe I'm just, you know, a nut, but I say that their healing is weird. Like, everything is just really strange. The healing, just the whole thing in this whole world. Everything is just so, but what was that? That was, okay, so, okay, so Eminem, got in some beef with Machine Gun Kelly or something. Machine Gun Kelly used to be a rapper. Now he's just like a rocker. But when he was a rapper, he got in some beef with Eminem and said some kind of stuff to him. But in the song, he said, "You're not even the real guy. The real guy is like 6 feet under," or something like that. Something. And see, I've just been noticing more and more in songs and like all of this stuff is constantly being said around us, you know. And anybody who, like, I had one daughter who was obsessed with Eminem when she was younger, so I saw him all the time, heard him all the time, and I could recognize when that wasn't him. And then plus these these mutation beings that they bring out are just so glitchy. Like their eyes are just like, they just do weird shit. So, I don't know. I'm curious to see how many of these glitchy people, that aren't even real are around. How many people are just robots and stuff. There's more videos and stuff showing that. A lot of those people like don't even seem like clones. They seem like fucking robots. Like this is just it is weird. I'll be so glad when we get to really start seeing, just because the truth will set you free. And that is what we're headed for, is freedom. Why do we need to have our minds bound down by any of their lies? We need to let it go. It's transformation for us to let go and be free. And that is so much an independence. When you really start paying attention about the dependency of one's mind, the dependency of one's physicality, the dependency of one's financial, the dependency is all over. It's a part of the problem, is one's dependency on people who are manipulating and controlling you. That's what we have to move into control, into complete independence. And independence is you being able to do everything for yourself, not being dependent on anybody else. And there's not very many people who aren't. That's where you have to start building community. You don't want to be depending on these people who are out to kill you. They just want us dead. I mean, they're coming right out and saying it. And that we're a burden on the planet. They're good for the planet. They're good for the planet. We're the burden. We're the problem. They're so good for the planet. It's so ridiculous. I can't wait for this switch. I can't wait for this upside down and everything to go right side up. And it's got to be close. Like everything is switching, in people's lives and stuff. And so that's all part of the whole thing. It's just all this big switch, the big boomerang, the big turning the other direction. So I'm sure everybody's seeing things in their own lives turning, and some things will still have bad things will still happen. You got to decide for yourself how you deal with the bad things when they happen, because that's the part of you that you are trying to understand about you, is how you react, how you behave, how you look at things. That's what you're trying to understand about yourself. So just keep that in mind as things are going. Just be mindful of that kind of thing. I'm about to have a cough fit, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.